So after that rousing, entertaining performance from both Fernandes and United yesterday, United fans have to worry about the possibility of their captain feeling a little bit unsettled at the club. What exactly has he had to say?
Yeah, good afternoon, Jess. I mean, I think this is the last thing anyone connected with Manchester United wanted to see, wanted to read today after, as you mentioned, what was, a performance, a result, that felt quite positive in the end, that 4-4 draw with Bournemouth yesterday evening. Now, Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes, he has had some explosive things to say, talking about feeling not valued by his club and also maybe the club wanting to sell him in the summer. Now, to give you some context, this wasn't done in the mixed zone after the game yesterday. This interview Fernandes has given was actually in November, as I understand it from sources in Portugal. It was by Canal 11, a Portuguese channel affiliated with the Portuguese FA, who have done a two-part sit-down with Fernandes. Part one came out last night, and he had some explosive things to say about his value at United. So we can bring you some of those quotes now. First of all, he says, "I was valued. What values me most has to be my club. Although I feel lately that I'm a little on the tightrope, because in England, a player reaches 30 and they think he has to remodel. I decided not to go, not only for family reasons, but because I genuinely liked the club. From the club, I felt if you go, it's not that bad for us. It hurts me a bit. More than hurting, makes me sad. I'm a player who has nothing to point to. I'm always available. I always give the best of me." Very interesting in that sense, Jess. I mean, really talking about his value and not feeling valued, actually. And also you talk about him saying that he's on the other side of 30. Maybe that also points to his change in position, of course. Ruben Amorim has changed that position from a number 10 into midfield this year, bringing in more attacking, more players full of speed like the likes of Brian Mbeumo and Mateus Cunha. So you wonder if Fernandes is alluding to that as well. We can also look at some quotes where he talks about a potential move to Saudi Arabia in the summer as well. One where Fernandes rejected that move. And he says the passion and empathy for the club were the same, only it gets to a point where money is more important to them than you. The club wanted me to go away. I told the directors that I don't think they had the courage to make that decision because the coach wanted me. But if I said I wanted to leave, even though the coach wanted me to stay, the club would let me. Now, this is really interesting, Jess, when you hear Fernandes talk about the club wanting him to go, because Fernandes actually did an interview in October with the British press ahead of his 300th appearance for Manchester United, and actually said at that point that Ruben Amorim wanted him to stay despite interest from the likes of Saudi Arabia, Al Hilal especially. And he also said in that interview actually that he felt the club wanted him to stay and be part of their project going forward. Now, as we understand it, after these quotes have come out, our sources are telling us that Manchester United are adamant they want their captain to stay at the club. They very much see him as part of their long-term future. And also we understand that the leadership of United have been pretty adamant throughout the summer that Fernandes is not for sale. What I would just caveat all of this with is in that interview in October with the British press, not the Portuguese, but the British press, he also did say, though, that he won't talk about his future going forward until after next summer's World Cup. So it does raise questions whether Fernandes, whose contract goes till the summer of 2027, with a further option of another year, whether he will still be here next season. Very, maybe worrying for some United fans.
Yeah, definitely. It's something for us to keep an eye on over the next 18 months or so, Dan. So I mentioned that rousing, kind of entertaining performance by Manchester United against Bournemouth last night at Old Trafford, but a sense of frustration because for multiple times they did lead that game against the Cherries. Where does that result, that 4-4 draw, leave the manager Ruben Amorim now, do you think?
Yeah, it's very interesting, Jess. Well, first of all, what I will say is, although they didn't get the win and it might be 2 wins in 7 league games, it was a very different performance to the previous 2 home performances at Old Trafford when you compare the draw against West Ham, the loss to Everton against 10 men. And from what I saw, speaking to United fans after the game, I mean, you saw a lot of actual jubilant faces. Yes, disappointed not to get the win, but you have to say at least United were entertaining. They scored great goals. But more importantly, and I think what Amorim will be more pleased about, although he looks disappointed there, is they were much more competitive in their duels defensively as well, winning the ball back quickly. And I think for all the criticism towards Ruben Amorim for being stubborn with his formation, with his tactics, he showed yesterday actually it seemed to be more of a 4-4-2. Maybe you could say that's a bit more fluid, but he clearly changed his system and formation for this game, showing that he is willing to adapt his tactics going forward. So I think that for fans and everyone connected with the club, they'll feel positive about that. I think the only caveat and the only maybe feeling of sadness was seeing how well they were attacking, where they really struggled last season, Jess, is that the likes of Ahmad and Brian Mbeumo, United fans aren't going to see this system maybe at its best, as we saw last night, for a good month, as of course they're going to AFCON. So how Amorim adapts this team, who comes in for the likes of Mbeumo. Šeško is now fit after his knee injury, but who comes in for Ahmad, especially on that right, is going to be very interesting to see what Ruben Amorim does going forward. And we have a huge game against Aston Villa on Sunday, who are flying themselves. So look, question still for this United team to raise, but I think after yesterday's result and performance, maybe a lot more positive going forward than compared to the last previous weeks.
Yeah, just a little matter of going all the way to Villa Park against a surging Aston Villa on Sunday.
It was an 8-goal thriller, wasn't it? Old Trafford last night. What a match between Manchester United and Bournemouth. 4 apiece. Ruben Amorim, as you can imagine, not happy with his defence.
We are lacking of quality when we defend our goal. It's something that we need to address, of course. I think it's different when you suffer so many goals and the opponent doesn't have the same amount of, not even near, that we create to the opponent. Is really frustrated, but we need to work a lot in the way we defend the box. We have talent in the back, we have quality players in the back, we just need to be better as a team defending. But that is a good point, that at least show that we took care of the offense. We are improving, but I think it's not the same situation. We have the characteristics, we just need to work together and to improve our players because they have quality to defend better.
Ruben Amorim quite calm, I suppose, considering the way in which Manchester United let that game slip away from them. You weren't here yesterday.
I was watching it though.
Oh, good. Well, that's lucky.
I didn't have to.
No, that's true.
Busy man, you know. To be fair, they have been in some of the recent games going forward much more pleasing on the eye and a little bit more exciting. But again, when they get and they got a little lucky in a sense yesterday. The Bruno Fernandes free kick that was awarded was extremely debatable, but the referee Simon Hooper gave it. So, you know, they've got better players in the forward areas. They still have massive issues in the middle of the park, and it's not just about the back line defending. And I know he's missing Maguire, he's missing De Ligt, he's missing Mazraoui, but the back line struggling is not just it's not just because you have less experienced players in there, which they have. It's a consequence of unbalanced middle of the park as well. It's something that Liverpool have had issues with this season. Kanate and Van Dijk in the back four have been under more pressure because the dynamics in front of them have changed and they've not been as solid. Now, although they're on similar points, you know, Liverpool are a much better outfit than Man United, but in a sense of your back line struggling and you're letting, you know, you're giving up teams a lot of chances. It's not just the fact that it's Shaw and it's Heaven and it's Lenny Yoro. It's the fact that, you know, you've got Fernandes and Casemiro, which really I don't think is a very good combination, not in this day and age, and certainly not protecting a weak back four. When you have a perceived weak back line, back three, back five, you've got to make sure you're solid in front. And Manchester United are not.
It was great for the neutral, not though, of course, if you're any sort of defensive coach.
Oh no, I mean, listen, I agree with every single thing Craig said about the middle of the park,
right.
not stopping anybody, regardless whether it's Bournemouth or anybody else. But at the end of the day, when you're a defender, there comes a time when you have to do your job. You can't just keep blaming the middle of the park for letting teams get at you. As a okay goalkeeper, I don't remember him making a real save since he started in goal for Manchester United. There's not one save where you go, wow, how did he get that?
I think both goalies yesterday.
It's not true.
Shaq was on yesterday and, you know, Shaq is giving them a pass. Why the hell? Both goalkeepers. All right, Fernandes hits the top corner.
Yeah.
Standing
But
behind the wall.
that's on Petrovic's side, right? Line the wall up over there. You stand on this side, and even if somebody pings it like Fernandes did, you're only a yard away or so away from putting it over the bar. Both goalkeepers stood in the middle of the goal. That's not. Even we know that as outfield players. When you put a wall up, you have to go to the other side. I actually think he's made some decent saves, this goalkeeper. No?
At the end, yeah. At the end of the game, yeah.
Well, in general.
At the end of the game. He made two.
Right, hold on. Okay, can you? I wish Shaka was here because he made a save with his feet. When if he had stood up strong, he would have just stuck it in there.
What, the header?
Oh.
The goalkeeper when he saved it with his feet right at the end. I mean, come on.
No,
If he'd
Stevie, that was on his right side. No.
If he'd stood strong, he would have caught it with two hands.
We can
I'm
say on
sorry.
that specific action, and in specific action, we can see that he hesitates between his using his hand or his leg, and he picks the leg because I think it's more convenient for him. But that was a real save. And he had two big saves. Otherwise, Manchester United would have lost the game. But if I can put myself into the discussion,
We'll ask Shaq. Next time Shaq's on with
Of
me and
course.
you, we'll ask him why the goalkeeper,
Okay.
when the ball's coming to him, was falling on his back.
Why don't we get him on the phone now?
Has never been in so much demand.
I know. I'll call Shaq.
I think he's
I'm sorry. He's an okay
No, but
goalkeeper. He's not.
I think he's
not-
done. I actually think he's done better. I think he's done better than people expected when he came in because of his inexperience, because they were so weak at the back. I think he's done. I think he's the. Ironically, I think that position now is less of a problem for them than some of the other positions, and it was a big headache for them at one point.
Yeah.
I think he's been not bad.
I don't think it's the worst of their problems. I don't know why you picked.
No.
Yeah, you
I don't. I'm not saying it's the worst of the problem.
That
I'm
sounds
just
like
saying that
Frank, what do you say?
When you need a save, when you need a real
say nothing.
save, I'm sorry. I don't think this guy's making it.
No, Stevie, I just want to say that, yeah, that's not the only problem. And we could see on the first goal that Manchester United has conceded that you can see Mason Mount chasing the player who's going to score the goal for Bournemouth, asking Evan to come out. And nobody comes to stop the guy from shooting. And that's the elementary action that the central back has to do. That's taking the decision at what point he has to get out, and Heaven doesn't do it. He's still a young player. He was tricked also on the second goal. He's still a young player, but he has to learn very quickly. You play for Manchester United, you have to know when to take those decisions, and he didn't. And the first two goals is because he's not covering on the second one. On the first one, it doesn't go out.
Hold on. How many did they let in?
Well, it's not always the goalie's fault. I mean, the free kick, I didn't like the free kick. I don't know why you're picking on the goalie. By the way, I was watching this game, when United came back, I was watching the crowd celebrate, and I suppose there is an air of desperation because they've been pants now for a long time. But I had to check. It's Bournemouth they're playing, not Barcelona, right? Bournemouth.
Yeah, but you just hold on to anything if you're United a fan.
They're playing Bournemouth, and they're celebrating like they've just won the league when they came back to go 4-3, which most of them knew they were never going to hang on to. Bournemouth, who sold all the best players. Bournemouth, who have one of the smallest budgets. Away from home, 15th in the league.
They're on a poor run.
And that's kind of where, they are on a poor run after a really good start to the season. And that's kind of where they are. And then you just know if they'd won, the conversation yesterday on the show, if they'd won, would probably have been about the top four. Like they've been driven by this papering over the cracks. Oh, are United good enough for the top four? No, they're not. Because Bournemouth have really been struggling of late. And I mentioned all the departures. And they go up there and they themselves could have had 6 or 7 goals.
Meanwhile, a member of Manchester United squad is sad. That would be Bruno Fernandes. This is what he said in an exclusive interview, saying, I could have left in the transfer window. I would have earned much more money. I was going to leave a season ago. I would have won many trophies this season, but I decided not to go because I genuinely love the club. From the club, I felt it was, if you go, it's not so bad for us. It hurts me a bit. More than hurting me, it makes me sad. I'm a player that no one can criticise. I'm always available. I always give my best. The passion and empathy for the club were the same, but it reaches a point where money is more important to them than you. The club wanted me to leave. I told the directors that I think they didn't have the courage to make that decision because the manager wanted me. But if I said I wanted to leave, even with the manager wanting me to stay, the club would let me. This was, of course, the links to Saudi Arabia. We discussed this.
Is that the trophies he's talking about?
During the summer.
Is that the trophies he's talking? He could go to Saudi Arabia and win trophies.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like taking a kid to the candy store, isn't it? I mean,
he feels let down. The club wasn't loyal to him. Didn't make him really feel wanted.
well, you know what? I'd be a bigger concern if I was Bruno Fernandes. The fact that he decided to stay when he knew they're just not a very good team.
Yeah, but he loves Manchester United. That's what he was saying. He loves the club.
No, fair. Well, fine. We'll crack on then. The manager wants him. That's the most.
The manager
important
wants
thing.
him. The club doesn't care.
Yeah, who cares about board of directors sometimes? As long as the manager wants you.
I'm trying to figure out why he's coming out with this anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite frankly, what's the point of this?
We saw Salah do it. We thought, oh, no.
Is he looking for sympathy? Is he looking for a pat in the back?
Well, yeah.
I mean, he loves the club. I don't want to go. So if Real Madrid had come in, would he have stayed? He loves the club so much. I don't think so. I think he'd have been on that. He'd have been on that plane or any way possible getting there as quick as possible.
Right.
So, yeah, don't think so.
Frank?
Yeah, I completely agree with Stevie. I mean, I don't know why he's coming out just now. We don't need to hear that. We don't care about that. It clears now to the fact that supposedly the club doesn't like Fernandes, and only the coach likes him, and that he will never go. And again, as Steve just said, it would have been Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid. I think Fernandes would have gone. So that doesn't make any sense for me.
Just a reminder, Football Reporters is available every week. The latest podcast dives deep into Manchester United, plus the boys look ahead to AFCON, which of course kicks off next week.
Leandro Trossard proved to be the perfect antidote to Arsenal's attacking frustrations, following Mikel Arteta's candid remarks about Victor Gyökeres. Gyökeres may have struggled to truly impress since his summer arrival at Arsenal, but over the weekend, there was finally a glimpse of what he is capable of. More importantly, Trossard showed exactly why he could be the key to unlocking the Swedish striker's full potential during Arsenal's hard-fought 2-1 victory over Wolves at the Emirates Stadium. The 31-year-old winger injected fresh energy into Mikel Arteta's side on Saturday night and helped breathe new life into the Gunners' attack. Shortly after replacing Gabriel Martinelli in the second half, Arsenal found the breakthrough. While Trossard did not directly contribute to either the opening goal or the dramatic stoppage time winner, his influence on the game was undeniable. Trossard took control of proceedings, dictating the tempo and pulling the strings down the left flank. Time and again, he dismantled Wolves' compact defensive setup, releasing Miles Lewis-Skelly into space, picking out Declan Rice on the edge of the box, and crucially, feeding Gyökeres with intelligent, well-timed passes. Operating as a creative hub, the Belgian showcased his playmaking qualities, delivering sharp, purposeful distribution. His introduction completely shifted the momentum of the match, and for the first time in weeks, Arsenal's $64 million striker briefly looked like a genuine threat. Before Trossard's arrival, Gyökeres endured a frustrating and ineffective outing in attack. In fact, the Belgian was the only player to carve out a clear-cut opportunity for the 27-year-old forward, slipping a simple yet incisive ball in behind the Wolves' backline. Gyökeres controlled the pass, beat his defender, and aimed for the far post. Wolves goalkeeper Sam Johnstone was beaten, but the Swedish striker saw his effort agonizingly drift just wide. If Arteta truly wants to get the best out of Gyökeres, then granting Trossard a more prominent role in the starting 11th could be the solution. Speaking to TNT Sports after the win, the Arsenal manager openly addressed the challenges facing his marquee signing. "It's a collaboration between the two," Arteta explained. "He was in some really good positions, but the ball didn't arrive quickly enough, accurately enough, or with the precision a number 9 needs to score." But his commitment and intention were there, and we have to keep pushing. Arteta was equally vocal in defending Gyökeres prior to the match, urging patience with the striker's adaptation to English football. There was huge expectation because we were signing a proven goal scorer, probably with the best statistics in Europe, Arteta said. But he's coming into a different league, the most demanding league in the world. What happens if he doesn't score in 5 or 6 games? That was the only question I asked him. How are you going to react if you don't score in 5 or 6 matches? Can you handle that? And what about the next 100 games? That's what people need to see. The sample size is still very small, so leave him alone. Let him do what he does best. Support him, and I'm convinced things will come good. That message from Arteta resonated beyond the Emirates. In the days following the Wolves' victory, the debate around Gyökeres intensified among pundits, supporters, and former players. While some questioned whether Arsenal's record signing is truly suited to the Premier League's pace and physicality, others pointed to the structural issues around him rather than the striker himself. Much of the post-match analysis focused on Arsenal's chance creation and balance in the final third. The Wolves game highlighted a recurring theme this season. Gyökeres often makes the right movements, but the service into dangerous areas has been inconsistent. When Trossard entered the match, that problem briefly disappeared. Arsenal suddenly looked more fluid, more unpredictable, and far better equipped to supply a traditional number 9. Former players speaking on television and radio were quick to note the contrast. With Trossard drifting inside and linking play, Arsenal's attacking shape became more compact, allowing Gyökeres to stay higher up the pitch and occupy central defenders. That, in turn, created space for midfield runners like Rice and Ødegaard to arrive late in the box. It was a glimpse of an attacking formula that Arsenal have rarely sustained this season. The reaction from supporters has been equally divided. While frustration with Gyökeres' goal return remains, there is growing appreciation for his work rate, physical presence, and willingness to press from the front. Many fans now see Trossard as the missing connector, the player who can translate Gyökeres' movement into genuine scoring opportunities. Internally, Arteta faces an important decision. Persisting with a front line that isolates Gyökeres risks damaging the striker's confidence, especially with tougher fixtures on the horizon. At the same time, promoting Trossard to a regular starting role could mean reshuffling wide positions and reducing Martinelli's minutes, a bold call that would not come without consequences. Yet football at the highest level often comes down to chemistry rather than reputation. The Wolves match suggested that Arsenal's most expensive signing may not need drastic changes to his own game, but rather the right supporting cast around him. If Arteta embraces that idea, Gyökeres' slow start could soon be remembered as nothing more than a difficult adjustment period. For now, the pressure remains. Goals will ultimately define Gyökeres' Arsenal career, and patience in North London is never unlimited. But with Trossard offering clarity, creativity, and calm in possession, Arsenal may finally have found the key to unlocking their striker and turning promise into consistent production.